Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. The reminder of choice that we all have to choose what things mean. That's what that is. And right now it happens to be morning, but it could be afternoon, it could be evening. It doesn't matter really what time it is. The point is that you get to give meaning to whatever that moment is. The same way that you get to give meaning to everything. Remember, everything is fundamentally meaningless. Everything just is. Nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. And we, you, me, all of us, we get to make everything whatever we want it to be. Now, I know that might sound really crazy and ludicrous on the surface, but when you really dive into it, you'll actually see that that's actually wonderful because with that power, you can lead yourself onto a specific state, which then will lead you into a vibratory feeling, I guess you say an emotion, which then leads to the actions you take. See, you have it all under your control. It's just a matter of whether or not you'll take control over whatever that narrative is inside of you. And that's what we share with you here at Elevitality. That's what we hope that you grab onto for you in your life and that you use. And so use it and use it as if your life depends on it. You know why? Because it does. Now, with that being said, we have a beautiful reminder for you that on January 31st, we have another emergence event, which is going to be absolutely amazing and incredible. That is something we invite you to attend. And if you haven't registered for it already, register for it and also invite others to come along for the ride as well, because this information is something that the world needs to know about. If it's helped you, it can help them too as well. So make sure that you register because, again, it's going to be amazing, incredible. Now, make sure you also have your goal card with you. And in terms of the goal card, I will remind you of something important is that is we don't manifest what we write on a goal card. We don't even manifest what's on a vision board, or we don't even manifest affirmations. What we manifest is how we feel about them. See, the connection we have with it. So, yes, make sure that you have one. And then also make sure that you have a copy of this book, which is what we're studying right now, which is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Get this exact copy. Some people have been getting a hardcover and a soft cover, and they've been taking the notes in the soft cover and keeping the hardcover standalone. You don't have to do that, but it's actually a wonderful thing to do. It shows the importance of the information to you. And with that importance comes activation inside, which then leads to results in your outer world. Now, in terms of this book, The Science of Getting Rich, there is a science to getting rich, which is why we love this so much. There's a science to everything. And when you really dive into it, he's talking about cause and effect. With every effect, there's a cause. Well, if you want to be rich, you got to deal with the cause. And something that he points out beautifully in this book is the importance of thinking in a certain way, which leads to you doing things in a certain way, which leads to you having the result. And in terms of thinking in a certain way, it's talking about thinking from riches already being in your mind, because that's what leads to the riches being in your outer world. So, with that being said, you ready? Type in the comments, I'm ready, if you're ready to step into where we left off in the last session. I'm ready. So let's go for it. Now I'm going to pull this up here on the screen. Now I am going to go back just a few paragraphs here because of how important it is. And yes, in terms of the chapter, it's still the same chapter that we were in last time. With that being said, I'm on page 34 of this specific soft cover here. Now, the emphasis here is this, and that's about, remember, being rich and how important it is for you to get rich. Why? Because with more money, you can express more, you can do more, you can actually show more of what God or the universe has to offer. Now, here he says the desire for riches is simply the capacity for larger life seeking fuller fulfillment. Every desire is the effort of an unexpressed possibility to come into action. Now, think about that. When you think about the desire to be wealthy, the desire to have a lot more money, what you need to understand is that that is simply the capacity for your larger life, the larger life that you seek, seeking fulfillment. Now, think about how important that is. Let's think about this for you in terms of your goal, how important it is for you to get rich, to accomplish a lot of what's written on this goal. And that, again, is something really important to get. Now, going further, he states it is power seeking to manifest which causes desire. When you have a desire for something, and you have a desire for riches, it's actually power seeking to manifest that which makes you want more money is the same as that which makes the plant grow. It is like life seeking fuller expression. Now, I think it's really important for you to underline that. That which makes you want more money is the same that makes the plant grow. Remember, seed, plant, blossom, fruit. That's the fourfold order of the universe. That's something you're a part of. You're a part of nature. Now, the one living substance must be subject to this inherent law of all life. It is permeated with the desire to live more. That is why it is under the necessity of creating things. The one substance desires to live more in you. Hence, it wants you to have all the things you can use. Now, let's just sit in that for just a moment. The one substance, the thinking substance, which permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. Remember, it's intelligent. And in terms of it, meaning that thinking substance, it desires to live more in you. It's alive. And hence it wants you to have all the things to use. Now, when you move into this further, it is the desire of God that you should be rich. Now, we touched on this before because a lot of religion doesn't teach that, even though scripturally it does say that. The parable of the talents is a beautiful example of that. With that being said, it's important that you embed within you that, you know what? Yes, God does want me to be rich, that the universe does want me to be rich, that source does want me to be rich. Remember, they're all the same. Energy wants me to be rich. Energy wants you to be rich. God wants you to be rich. Why? Because it reveals more of God. He wants you to get rich because he can express himself better through you if you have plenty of things to use in giving him expression. He can live more in you if you have unlimited command of the means of life. Remember, you've been given dominion over this earth. And that dominion means you've been given this ability to create, to bring into life in the outer world ideas. You know what I love about this a lot is the revelation of how God is everywhere. Because a lot of people look for proof of God or creation or universe or energy, not realizing that the evidence is everywhere expressed through the individual. Now, how does that tie to you delivering your outcomes? Well, because all of those outcomes were delivered the same way. Someone imagined the idea, they were loyal to that unseen reality, then it led to that result. See, that is God expressing to and through the individual, evidenced everywhere, which includes you. Now, think about the impact of that when it comes to using that power. and how you can externalize anything solely by thinking in a certain way, by operating from being the creator, which you are. Now, before we move further, for those of you watching this live stream who would love to tap into the rest of this call to the end and watch the replays, go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You'll thank yourself later.